saw CJ go down. We see Damar in there, Gino. How do you see Jalen Kilgore fitting in so early right now?
Extremely athletic. You know, he's taken a huge jump, as you'd expect most rookies from OTAs to training camp. Just his being comfortable in the defense and playing fast. I mean, that's going to allow those physical skills to stand out, and he's done a great job. You know, he's eliminated a lot of mental mistakes that he was having early, and he's talented, man. He's making plays on the football. He's flying around. He's exciting. You know, he's exciting with that group of experienced guys around him. He's soaking it all in, and you know, it's really fun. I can't wait to get more situations, right? Just more thinking, faster processing, get to the games. But he's done a great job so far.
When you have a guy that can play safety, but he's in the box, that type of body, you know, how do you divide up where you want to put him to see him without putting too much on him?
Yeah, that's the trick, right? In between me and Joe Dana, like just finding the right way to give it to him. Obviously, as camp goes on and you get more installs, there's different roles that come up for the safeties, and it's just trying to get them at the right time. You know, what's the right time? But over the next week and a half, he's really going to have an opportunity to show his skill set, and we'll put him in a lot of different positions.
Jim, with a guy like that who probably went a little lower in the draft than you would have preferred, is that something that you as a coach want to use? Is that a button that you will push at times?
As long as it motivates him the right way, and I think it does. You know, he's wired the right way. He's going to be a really good player, I think. In ton of talent, but he's quiet. He listens. He takes things in. He takes coaching very well. So I see him growing every day. And again, the more tough situations that you see him in, we're just going to continue to learn. Fatigue being one of them, right? You get to a certain point in camp and you're tired, and sometimes guys start to blow some things. So I'm excited for the next week, you know, just to see how his progress goes, and I think he'll handle it well, though.
Jim, what have you seen from Fedarian Mathis for him to earn the opportunities that he's getting?
Yeah, I'm impressed with his athleticism for that size. You know, he's big, he's powerful, but he's a really good athlete. He's got good feet, great practice habits. Like, he runs to the football consistently day in and day out, which not all big guys do. So there's plenty of things technically he's got to clean up, and there's always a little stuff that he can do better. But to me, the thing that jumps out is just the play style. Like, he plays hard over and over again, and he runs to the football.
Where's Igbenogson right now in his development? Because Max is big, it looks like he's getting almost all first-team reps. Where is Igbenogson right now?
Yeah, he's mainly working with that second group, and he's doing a good job as well, right? It's just going out there and competing and learning how to win against different body type receivers, right? Big receivers, physical, speed. It's no issues with the playbook, right? He's doing a great job. It's not like he's having any busts, and it's an offense that it's not like early part of camp when it's more run emphasis and things like that. It's not an offense where you're isolating corners, right? You're getting a lot of one-on-one opportunities and outside lane one-on-ones. You know, we're getting into this 2-minute and third and longers, right? So I would imagine our outside corners here in the next couple days are going to get tested significantly more, just with how the practices are structured, right? So I'm excited to see how he challenges or how he responds. He's extremely competitive. You know, he wants more. You know, he wants to have a big role on this football team, and I think the biggest test for our corners is the next few practices when the ball's going to be in the air a little bit more.
Jim, having faced the Bills last year in the playoffs, I'm going back to the DJ Moore catch that's still gaining a lot of buzz. Yes. What does DJ Moore do for this offense that maybe you didn't see a year ago? And could you have defended that any better?
Well, I mean, the coaching point for my guys there is live. Like, he can't catch the ball, right? You got three players. You're going to have to fight that one to the ground. It's unbelievable throw, and to be able to track it the way that he tracked the ball, I mean, extremely impressive. But in a live football game, you three guys, like, the ball ends up on the ground somehow, some way. Like, that's the coaching point. In the practice, we want to stay up. We don't want to hit the ground. So, but yeah, I'm glad I'm on this side watching Josh make those throws right now. But DJ, he's bigger than you think he is, right? He's stronger. He's more explosive than you think. Like, I think sometimes you watch guys on tape and you think you have a feel for who they are and and what their skill set is, and you see it live, and you're like, oh wow, okay, that's why this looks. That's why he's so hard to tackle, or that's why he's always creating separation. He's fun because just personality-wise, you can tell he's confident. He knows who he is. It's quiet, but you can tell he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he works, and he makes people around him better. So, like I said, everything that you kind of think he is, you're like, he does something every day that's real subtle. Like, that was pretty impressive. It was good to see as a DB, former DB, right? Like, you watch it, and there's a lot of little stuff that you have to study. It doesn't quite jump off the tape sometimes. A little bit different type of player as far as the eval goes.
With what you're asking from your outside linebackers, what do you want to see from TJ Parker now that you have pads on and the evaluation point, the big evaluation points are going to come up?
Yeah, I mean, the huge thing when you put the pads on is to see the physicality, pass rush changes, right? The way that you can rush the passer a little bit. So when you're in OTAs and early in camp, it's going to look a certain way, and you put pads on, and the way offensive linemen set and the physicality they can play with changes, run and pass, and you just want to see them up their level. You know, he's done a great job. He's confident as well. You know, he knows who he is as a player. He's feeling things out. There's still certain things that he's seeing for the first time, right? And you're kind of seeing a little bit of hesitation, as opposed to a lot of the rest of that group is veterans. Like, they've played a lot of games. They've got a ton of experience. So it seems like every day you see something, you're like, that's probably the first time he's seen that block, or that's the first time this has happened in this type of scheme. So he's just going to put it in the memory bank. And again, for him, that coach's eval is like, all right, what's the next one look like? What's the next rep look like? And just like I mentioned with Kilgore, it's like as they start to fatigue and you're getting more situations coached, just more install in general, like you always just like, all right, how are they handling it? Where are they at? They're doing a great job early, and can they continue as you push through camp?
Have your thoughts changed at all on training camp fights from when you were a player to coach?
To me, there's always there's some that are justified, and then there's some that are like, all right, you're just tired and being assholes. Like, there's and everything in between there. So you'd rather pull guys back, right? I mean, I think every coach, every team, you want a team that bites a little bit, not just talks it. There's a fine line. There's always a fine line, and obviously back in the day when you had your two-a-days and all that, like you got tired a little bit faster, and you got sick of going against the same guy over and over again. So hopefully today looks a little bit better than Tuesday. Everyone's on edge, right? You put pads on and everyone's excited to go, and some are okay. Like I said, some it's right to respond, or it's right to try to. Sometimes you got to teach it. A lot of young guys, right? You just got to teach them how we practice, how we finish. There's always gray, right? When you're playing football, but it's not live, right? There's rules of engagement. There's always a gray area, and you just try to teach everyone what we do as an organization and how we're going to play. And but you'd rather pull them back than not know if they'll bite.
With that, you've seen from Landon Jackson added the weight to move to this position that he's playing. Has he taken to that well, and where is he kind of sitting right now?
He's doing a great job. You know, it's not a role that he was unfamiliar with. Like, it was something that he did a significant amount in college, and the more he learned about what his role was going to be, I think he was like, I think this could be really good for me. And he's done a great job. He's so big and powerful. I mean, he is a powerful guy. Offensive line, they don't like him. He's long, right? He's a little bit different body type than certain guys like him and Dion, right? Like, all of a sudden you put them in different positions with the length that they have, they present some different problems. So I like where he's at, man. He's gaining confidence, and you see the physicality come out, and again, you want to see it more in pads, right? We've had the one day in pads, and you did some stuff that was pretty impressive in my mind, and just want to see more, right?
Sorry. Now that you have Dorian playing healthy 11-on-11 with Terrell, Caleb is still there, how do you view that as a competition, let's say, or even fitting into the three spots, knowing how you play your defense?
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome competition, and there will be roles for all of them. Like, that's the thing. They can all play. They have a little bit different skill sets. It's exciting to see them go more, right? TB coming off the ankle and just feeling more comfortable and just kind of upping the pitch count, I guess you'd say. a little bit with Dorian as well. Just he was a little bit behind because the injury happened in the off season, but now getting more and more, and hopefully you don't have a setback, right? That's always the thing. When you go from an OTA setting to a training camp, it's, you have to be a little bit cautious and protect the player. And the beauty of that group of guys you mentioned, like, they want to go. They don't want to leave the field. They want to get as many reps as possible. So it's, I would say, on the training staff side and the coaches side of, like, kind of protecting them from themselves a little bit at this point, but it's getting closer to, taking the restrictions off and letting them go. But I like how they've communicated. Like, they're doing a great job, all three of those guys, and really the whole group. Like, there's so much on the inside backer group, as far as communication goes, and from OTAs till now, it's been a huge jump in just how smooth the operation, just like a quarterback, right? Just how smooth the operation has been, and it just puts everybody else at ease. But the physical skill set of those three guys, I think, is going to be a lot of fun to work with.
Jim, what are your impressions of Bradley Chubb overall? Not just what he can do on the field, but how he's worked with these guys off the field after practice for 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, he's a real pro. I mean, he has a process. He knows what he needs to do, and he's willing to share, right? Like, there's a lot of guys that just leave me alone, let me do my thing, and get off the field. I mean, he's just open. Like, that's the biggest thing, whether it's in a meeting setting, communicating with guys, working with them one-on-one. Like, really impressive, the fact that he wants to do it all the time, and he wants to make the people around him better. He's playing damn good football right now. It's a lot of fun. I mean, he's very comfortable. He's very comfortable in the defense, and that excites you. But all the other stuff, it's just impressive to see a guy who can kind of handle all that. And again, he's not trying to be anything. It's just who he is. Like, it's truly just who he genuinely is.
Jim, when Skylar Bell was drafted in April, he spoke about how you helped his game when he was at Wisconsin. How did you do that, and how wild is it that your paths cross again at the pro level?
Yeah, I love that kid, man, and he's like a little brother. He's one of those guys I give a hard time to, just check in on, and he's highly motivated. He's highly competitive. So you just keep pushing him, keep pushing him. But I know what he's all about, deep down what he wants and what his goals are and that type of stuff. So I feel like I can reach him a little bit in a different way than coaches who don't know him, and just check in and make sure he's getting what he needs. But he's a great kid, man. I think he's doing a great job this camp. I can't speak on the offense, right? I just know what I see, but he's feeling more comfortable in what he's being asked to do, and he's excited.
Jim, what do you think of a guy like, what have you seen from a guy like Kennard Walker? And do you have a connection to undrafted guys? I mean, it's been a little while, but in terms of when you go and you see those guys and you talk to those guys who didn't get that draft status.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously got a little history with the undrafted thing, but you always like guys who are the underdog a little bit, that know they have something to prove. Like, to me, there's an understanding of certain guys just get, like, they know that they have to shut their mouth, do their job, and just find a way to be noticed. And he's one of those guys. Obviously, he's from a skill set. Like, he's got size, he's got speed, he's got length, and that excites you as a corner. He's playing really well. Jay Valai coached him, so there's a lot of, like, he kind of had a head up on some of these young guys because the terminology that was being used, the drills, the things like that, he was very comfortable with. But he's a big athletic kid who competes, and he's got a chance. He flashes, he does something every day that gets you a little bit excited. He's got a lot of growth that needs to be there. And again, I think the big test for this corner group, the nickel group, like, it's coming because the ball's going to be in the air a little bit more, just with the structure of practices here for the next few days.
Jim, what have you seen out of Michael Boyd so far in this campaign as you're around more? Just how excited, what excites you about being in this space?
Yeah, number one is just personality, right? His energy, his personality. It's anytime you go through an injury like he did, and you just see the positivity that he has, like, he wants to be out there every play. Like, he has that mindset where he wants to be out there every play, and he's doing a good job. We weren't sure, right, going through that process exactly where he was going to be, come day one of training camp, and he knocked the rehab out of the park, and he's been able to be out there. And again, it's a build-up with him. Like, you're trying to build up into this, game 2, game 3, and into the season. He's one of the guys who has shown just a ton of versatility throughout his career and what he's been asked to do, whether it's first and second down or third down. So, there's certain things that we can get to that he's done before that maybe some of the other guys it would be new to. On top of just first and second down, he's a big physical guy. Like, he brings a lot of energy and a lot of physicality.
Jim, similar to Skylar Bell, you obviously had a chance to coach Jackson Acker back in Wisconsin. I'm curious, when you look back, obviously it was early in his career, but what do you remember about coaching a guy like that, and what's it like seeing him now here with the Bills?
Yeah, first off he was a running back when he came into Wisconsin, and I want to say it was his first carry at Rutgers. He takes it to the house. So, like, he's big, he's physical, he's got some tools. So, anytime you have a relationship with a guy and you see them starting to reach their goals or having opportunities, right? That's all you ask for as a player. Like, you don't know what's going to happen after college, but to be in a camp, have an opportunity, he's a kid who's going to make the most of it, whatever that means, right? He's going to throw it all out there and do whatever he's asked. And but it is fun to see guys kind of take that next step and have the opportunity that he has right now.